Will Wandale Robinson be coming off the PUP list in a couple of days? We're going to talk about that. And also, preseason game 1 against the Detroit Lions is tomorrow. And in today's show, I'm going to give you 5 guys that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. But first, make sure you are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, because we are going to be live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow for preseason week 1 against the Detroit Lions. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Damn, does it feel good to be back in the studio talking about our New York Football Giants. Preseason, game 1 tomorrow against the Lions. We'll get into that in a second, but we have some pretty big injury news coming from Joe Schoen on second-round wide receiver Wandale Robinson. Joe Schoen spoke to the media yesterday and said, quote, "He'll probably be returning to practice here in a week or so." Robinson is on the PUP list as he is still battling back from that torn ACL that he suffered midway through the season last year against the Detroit Lions. And there was thought that Robinson could start the season on the PUP and not be ready until October, but it sounds like he could be ready to go week 1. And this is awesome news, not only for the New York Football Giants, but also for Mr. Wan'Dale Robinson, because he was actually a really solid player for the Giants last year. And as he started to catch fire and get in his groove and become a reliable piece for Daniel Jones and this offense, he had that season-ending injury. When you take a look, though, back at what he did last year for Big Blue, just 23 receptions for 227 yards, 9.9 yards per reception, had that 1 touchdown, but he did that in just 6 games played. But what I like the most about his game is he is a generator with the football in his hands. That is a buzzword that Joe Schoen uses when he talks about receivers that makes plays when the rock is in their hands. He had 227 receiving yards last year, but 126 of those yards were after the catch, so he knows how to get busy when the ball is in his hands. And we talked about how versus the Lions last year, he tore that ACL, but we really started to see the type of player he could be. Had 9 receptions for 100 yards in that game, 11.1 yards per catch, and he had 57 yards after the catch. A couple of those tunnel screens, getting him out in the flat and letting him get north and south with area to move when the ball is in his hands. And if Robinson is not going to start the season on the PUP list, which a lot of people thought and people told me was going to happen, this wide receiver position battle is going to get more and more interesting. I can't tell you how many times I have been asked, Marshy, are we keeping 6 or are we keeping 7 wide receivers? And I think it could be either or. And I always thought that we would keep 6 and Wandale would be on the PUP and he would be added to the active roster when he was ready. And then we would have 7 wide receivers. But if he is going to be ready to go week 1 and the PUP list is not going to happen, the decision for Joe Schoen to keep a certain amount of receivers and which receivers are going to be extremely interesting. You look at the guys right now that are on this team and at that position that are probably going to make the roster. Isaiah Hodgins is a lock. I would say Darius Slayton is a lock. Paris Campbell is a lock. If Wan'Dale Robinson is healthy, the former second-round pick, if he is ready to go, he is going to be a lock. Jalin Hyatt is going to be a lock. And that's 5 guys right there. And I haven't even mentioned Sterling Shepard or Cole Beasley or Jamison Crowder, Colin Johnson, and the fan favorite Bryce Ford-Wheaton. I do believe, though, that Cole Beasley is going to make this roster, because why would you bring in an older Cole Beasley and have him start with the ones in training camp if he's not going to make this roster? Why would the Giants be having him take reps away from receivers on this team if he wasn't going to make the team? I think he will. I think he'll be a part of this team and a big piece in this passing offense. Whether it's 6 or 7 wide receivers, those last couple of spots are definitely going to have to be earned for Big Blue with Mike Kafka and Brian Dable calling the shots. Before we get to the preseason game, though, let's show our guy Wandale Robinson some love, because I truly believe he is going to be a really, really active piece and successful and productive piece for this offense. And I can't wait to see him back on the football field wearing Big Blue. Show him some love. Type his jersey number 17, down below in the comment section. Alrighty, let's get into it. We're about 28 hours away from kickoff of the 2023 season for the New York Giants. I cannot wait. I am excited. And let's talk about 5 or maybe 6 or 7. I put a couple of other players in there that I'm going to be focused on when this game gets rolling. But I do think that it is important to note that I don't expect the starters. I don't expect Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, any of the starters or the veterans to play. I was looking forward to Evan Neal playing, but since he is in concussion protocol dating back to last week, I don't expect him to be out there. I don't expect to see Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence, probably not even Azeez Ojulari or Kayvon Thibodeau. If you're a starter or a vet, I don't expect for Brian Dable to trot you out there. So let's talk about 5 guys that I expect to play, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on. First, the running back, the 5th-round selection, Eric Gray out of Oklahoma. I'm excited to see what he is going to do for the Giants. I expect him to get the lion's share of the reps with Barkley out and Gary Brightwell also dealing with an injury. He's unexpected to play. So, number 20, Eric Gray, I expect to get a lot of reps, and we're going to see the type of player he can be. Coming out of Oklahoma, a lot of people thought he could be an instant impact player, and I expect that to happen, and that's why I'm so excited to see what he can do on the ground for the Giants. He's going to make this roster, no doubt about it, but he is, I would say, in a rep battle with other running backs on this team. I believe the Giants are going to keep 3 guys, Barkley, Breida, and Gray. They could keep a 4th, and that would be between Brightwell, Robinson, and Corbin. Also interested to see how Robinson looks in the preseason game tomorrow, but Eric Gray is someone I want to see how that shiftiness he had in the Big 12 last year translates to the NFL this year. Very excited to see the Big 2-0 in action. From running back to cornerback, let's talk about Cor'Dale Flott, the projected starting slot corner for New York, and especially I'm keeping my eyes on him. He's had some ups and downs so far through training camp. He's looked really good some plays and not so good some other reps. And that's what you get out of the young player, which Flott is, entering his 2nd season out of LSU. He had some splash plays last year, though, dating back to the playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings, had that key pass breakup on 3rd down before Kirk Cousins threw it short of the sticks to T.J. Hawkinson and Xavier McKinney ended their season. I want to see Flott take a stranglehold of that starting slot corner position because I'm not that big of a fan of Darnay Holmes. I don't think he is someone that is a good slot corner. He's okay. He's solid. But if he is your starting slot, you're going to have problems. And I want to see a younger player who has more upside in Flott take advantage of these opportunities he's going to get in the preseason to really show everybody that this is his job. And he's going to be the winner in the starting slot corner week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. All eyes, though, are going to be on the speedster, the playmaker, wide receiver, Jalin Hyatt. Man, oh man, has he been fun to watch so far at training camp. The speed is undeniable. Already been clocked at over 24 miles per hour twice at Giants practice. How much is he going to play? I'm not sure. But man, if he takes the defense, the top off the defense one time on a post route and he gets into the end zone, it is going to be a party on the channel. I'm curious to see how much he is going to be used. I don't expect Daniel Jones to play. Tyrod Taylor is going to get the start. So I want to see how he and Tyrod can really mesh and show that relationship and chemistry they've really started to build throughout Giants training camp. Big fan of Hyatt. I think he's going to be an impact player for the Giants. The question is, how early on in the season is he going to find reps at this wide receiver position? Because there are veterans on this team like Hodgins and Shepard and Slayton and Campbell and Cole Beasley. I'm expecting them to be big parts of this offense, but it is hard to keep a player that can change the dynamic of the game with just one reception like Jalin Hyatt can. My eyes are going to be glued to number 84 when the Giants have the football. Let's talk about a defensive back that I'm also keeping my eyes on, and that is second-year safety Dane Belton out of Iowa. We all saw that splash play he had in Giants joint practices with the Detroit Lions, just absolutely ripping the ball away from the Lions running back and taking it the other way. He caused a lot of really splash plays for the Giants defense last year, and he's in a position battle right now with other safeties. Guys like Jason Pinnock and other safeties on this team are all competing to play that strong safety spot next to Xavier McKinney. And I think Pinnock right now has the lead in that competition. But if Belton, who continues to get better, has more youth on his side, can take more strides and make more splash plays like he did last year in the preseason, it's going to be a really tight competition. And I expect, honestly, for Pinnock, Xavier McKinney, and Dane Belton to all be on the field at the same time during the regular season. I'm really excited for what Dane Belton is going to do in year 2. Let's focus in on the inside linebacker position, as I'm going to be watching Darrian Beavers, the second-year player out of Cincinnati, but he's really entering his rookie season because it never got started for him last year. Tore that ACL in the preseason last year. Really big guy, 6'4", 255 pounds. Reports are coming out that he doesn't look as explosive as he did last year, but obviously he's still coming back from an ACL. But that spot next to Bobby Okereke is up for grabs in the middle of the Giants' defense. If I had to guess right now, I would say Micah McFadden is the leader in the clubhouse. But guys like Beavers and Carter Coughlin and even Cam Brown and the 2 UDFAs on this roster, they will have a chance to make this team and get reps. But it's Darrian Beavers who I'm going to be keeping my eye on, as I want to see what he can do playing alongside Bobby Okereke and see if he can edge out Micah McFadden. It is going to be interesting to see who wins that starting job in the middle of this defense. A couple of other bonus players that I'm going to be keeping my eye on is the 6th-round selection, the training camp standout, and the hype machine, Tre Hawkins. He has been electric for the Giants on defense in training camp, and he even was successful. Jesus, that was bad. In joint practices against the Detroit Lions. I want to see if he's the real deal on Friday night. I'll also be watching John Michael Schmitz. Is he going to play? Not 100% sure, but I want to see him out there. I want to see all of the rookies out there, and I want to see how he fares against the interior defensive line of the Detroit Lions. He's expected to be an impact player in his rookie season, and I want to see that impact Friday night against the Lions in the trenches. I gave you 7 guys that I'm going to be watching closely on Friday night against the Lions, but I want to hear from you. What player are you most excited to watch Friday night for Big Blue? Give me a name in the comments section right now. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Remember, we will be live on the channel for a watch party 30 minutes prior to kickoff. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and let's watch Big Blue tomorrow night.